I think a lot of eyes have been open, Ami, across the political spectrum to what's happening in academia in particular, the anti-Semitism on university campuses. Do you think there is going to be a shift? You mentioned how the Jewish community, particularly in places like New York, lean very much left. Do you think there's going to be a political shift in that group when they see that the people that they stand with don't stand with them?
No, I think what you're going to see, and what you're seeing now, and I've called it for years, and for the first time we're seeing it, is that the universities have these massive endowments, right? And all they're looking to do is increase the size of their endowments. And look, let's be honest, the endowments are coming from billionaires. Many of them are pro-Israel. Many of them are Jewish. And these people finally, after years of giving money to this garbage, are finally realizing, well, maybe they're working at cross purposes to us. So we're starting to see a shift in the money, and I think that's good, but only because it helps push the administration. But fear not, this will have no effect on the professors, no effect on the students. All you see actually is a further hardening and radicalization of the professors and the student body. So I think we're going to see this become a bigger problem. I don't think it's going to ease up anytime soon, because what you're seeing is not just pro-Palestinian people. What you're seeing are the intersectional groups are all aligning with them, right? You saw Greta Thunberg with, and the whole climate change mafia are all standing and supporting the Palestinians, the Native Americans, the Black, the Hispanics. Now, again, most Black people, Hispanic people do not stand with them. But of course, the elites that go to these universities, they've all bought into this propaganda, and they're all staying together, and they're only hardening themselves. They're not getting any better.
And Ami, as you've mentioned before in some of your films, the funniest one is Queers for Palestine or Transgenders for Palestine, when we know full well if they rocked up into Gaza, they'd be thrown off the nearest rooftop with or without a war going on. But I also wanted to, unfortunately, I agree with you, the problem goes much further and much deeper, and part of the problem is these students end up in positions of power. Take, for example, Karine Jean-Pierre. I imagine she was a student at some university or other, and she is now Joe Biden's press secretary. Watch, Ami, this classic bit of moral equivalency or even displacement, where she's asked about anti-Semitism, but then answers by talking about hate crimes against Muslims. Have a look.
Level of concern right now about the potential rise of anti-Semitism in light of everything that's going on in Israel?
So a couple of things. We have not seen any credible threats. Muslim and those perceived to be Muslim have endured a disproportionate number of hate-fueled attacks. And certainly President Biden understands that many of our Muslim, Arab Americans and Palestinian American loved ones and neighbors are worried about the hate being directed at their communities.
So, Ami, in the one breath, she dismisses anti-Semitism. No, we've seen no proof of any of that, and then fabricates this entire kind of anti-Muslim world that's going on. Your experience in America, is she talking through a hat?
Why did you make me sit through that clip again? I mean, look, let's okay. She claimed that she misheard it. I mean, you heard the question. The question was not mumbled. The question was very, very clear. And I have yet to hear her mishear another question prior. That's the only one she magically misheard. But let me say something very clear about the data. There are 5-to-1 attacks, Jewish versus Muslim. This is not an Islamic issue. This is a Jewish issue. 5 times more attacks on Jewish people than Muslim people in this country. Yet, of course, she pivoted the thing to talk about Muslim attacks because that's out of their playbook. That's what they're reading. They can't do an audible and change in midstream. It goes against their narrative. She did that. I'm sorry. She did not misheard. She pivoted specifically because she didn't want to talk about the uncomfortable truth that Jews are being attacked by people from the left. That's the issue.
And Rita, we were talking earlier, Ami, Rita was saying the question, do you think there will be those traditional left-leaning Jews? Many in Australia, I've had arguments, I know Rita and James have, left-leaning Jews who start to see, oh, hang on, maybe the left aren't our great friends. We're certainly seeing it happening in Australia. Do you think it will happen in America?
Well, No. I think, unfortunately, I'd like to say yes, but I think that this too will pass. And I think ultimately they're going to go back to the political priors. I don't think there'll be a significant shift. I think it will have a certain effect for sure, but not one large enough, I think, to make any kind of significant dent. I'll tell you this, though, that if you go to Florida and you ask gun shops who are buying your guns, they'll tell you liberal Jews are coming in and buying guns. So if that's some kind of precursor, maybe that's good to hear. I'm not sure.